What's up, guys? Part-time gamer dad here. I debated if I should actually make this video, but I'm going to make a condensed version of my official predictions. A few days ago, I released my predictions for Survivor Series, told you some of the matches I think might happen, and now we do have the full official card, so I thought I'd give you a quick 5-minute overview of my predictions for Survivor Series WarGames out of Vancouver. These are my official final predictions. This is Friday night, so SmackDown's currently going on right now. I'm not watching. I'm heading to the gym to get a workout in. So let me give you my final predictions for Survivor Series WarGames 2024. So the first match is the Women's WarGames match. Team Bianca, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bayley, and Naomi against Team Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae, and Raquel Rodriguez. My prediction isn't going to change from my previous video. I'm still going to have Team Babyface win, but I can still see, like, the Team Liv and Denia. I think that's what they should call themselves, by the way. I can see that team winning. But I just think, like I said in my previous video, I just think there's too much inner conflict, too much turmoil, too many fresh wounds, like between Liv and Nia when they wrestled each other at Crown Jewel, and Tiffany Stratton having the women's Money in the Bank briefcase, and how that's been like utilized in storylines, and Nia Jax hasn't loved that so much. So I'm going to stick with my original prediction, but of all of the matches, this is probably the one I'm least confident in. I'm going to stick with Team Rhea to pull the win. Next up, one of the newly announced matches, and a match I actually predicted to happen at Survivor Series. It is the Intercontinental Triple Threat match with the champion, the IC champ, Braun Breaker, defending against Sheamus, going for the Grand Slam, and Ludwig Kaiser. In this matchup, I mean, do I go with my head or do I go with my heart? My heart says Sheamus, right? My heart says this is where Sheamus wins the Intercontinental Championship. He bro kicks the daylights out of Ludwig Kaiser while Braun Breaker's on the outside after having tried to spear him through the barricade and take himself out of the match. Only that I don't think Braun Breaker's going to lose this match. I think he's going to win. Also don't know if it's the best story to tell for Sheamus to win the IC title in a triple threat match. I think the only reason it would make sense is if you want to give Sheamus the IC title now, you don't want to necessarily have him take it off for Braun Breaker, who's going to be like your big main events like player for the next 15 years. And he is the guy they're going to build this company around for the foreseeable future. It's going to be him and Carmelo Hayes are going to be like the two. I mean, that's your new Rock Austin, moving into whatever era is after Cody, Roman, Seth, Sammy, KO. Whoa, there goes my camera. All those guys finally leave the business. So I'm going to have Braun to win. I'm going to have him pin Ludwig, probably have a rematch between Sheamus and Braun down the road, perhaps, maybe at the Rumble. Because I also don't see anything for Braun if he were to lose at this time. So we'll keep the title on Braun for a little bit longer at the very least. Have him pin Ludwig. I really think he's the reason he's the reason that he's in the match, is so he could pick up the pinfall. He could be the one that takes the pin, eats the loss, protects Sheamus, and gives that match between Sheamus and Braun Breaker a proper stage out of PLE where they can show out and put on another banger. So Braun Breaker to retain. Let's talk about Gunther defending his world championship against Damian Priest. Guys, this is one that I know I said the women's WarGames match was kind of like a one that was hard to predict. This one is also hard to predict, and I think it's probably because I'm overthinking it. Because why wouldn't you have, you know, like Gunther just definitively defeat Damian Priest with no help? But I feel like that's not the story they've been telling. So I think it's the story they do need to tell. I also know that we have this Goldberg feud waiting in the wings. So, like, do you have him cost Damian Priest a title? And I really am sticking to my guns of, no. Gunther's going to retain here, and he's going to lose the title on the first episode of Raw on Netflix at the beginning of next year against CM Punk or potentially Seth Rollins, one of those two. He's going to lose the title thanks to Goldberg spearing him, and giving whatever babyface he's wrestling in the main event the title. Heck, maybe John Cena. I just don't think that's going to happen. But that would be how I would actually build to that, and it puts a lot of eyes on to Raw on Netflix. So I'm going to stick with Gunther. Next up, LA Knight defending his United States Championship against the newly returned Shinsuke Nakamura. And guys, again, do I go with my head or do I go with my heart? I love LA Knight. I really do. I love LA Knight. Been a big LA Knight fan since he was Eli Drake, in TNA Impact Wrestling. And I would love to see him go into bigger and better things than the U.S. title. I just don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. And also, Shinsuke is kind of the guy to go in and lose and still be okay afterwards. He's also coming towards probably the end of his career. He's getting up there. I just hate that they build him up, and then immediately have him lose all the time in these feuds. Pretty decisively, too. It's not like he loses, barely, or he loses due to DQ, or like he's being so vicious. So maybe that's how he loses. But I don't see a way that Shinsuke walks away with the win. I think this is LA Knight going to retain. This is the one I would love to be wrong about. I would love to see Shinsuke Nakamura knee LA Knight's head in and win the U.S. title, and then LA Knight move on to a much bigger feud, perhaps against John Cena at WrestleMania. I'm just throwing John Cena into every WrestleMania match I can. I'm not ready to see him go. But all that being said, I'm going to predict for LA Knight to retain. I don't think he's had the title long enough. I don't think he's going to lose to Shinsuke Nakamura of all people. So yeah, LA Knight to retain. The final match, the main event, Team OG Bloodline, Roman Reigns, the Usos, Sami Zayn, and their new best friend, CM Punk, going against Team Bloodline 2.0, led by Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, the Gorillas of Destiny, Tanga Loa, and Tama Tonga, and the honorary Bloodline member, Bronson Reed. This whole show, I think people are thinking it's really predictable, and I think they've done a good job of telling the story in such a way that actually doesn't make it terribly predictable. So here's my thoughts. I could see a world where Seth screws Team Bloodline, OG Bloodline. I could see a world where Sammy screws OG Bloodline. I could see a world where Paul Heyman screws OG Bloodline, all because of Roman Reigns. What's the WrestleMania story going to be? And we have a lot of real estate between Survivor Series and WrestleMania. So how do you tell the story effectively? I think Team OG Bloodline wins. I think Tanga Loa eats the pin from whoever, probably CM Punk or Roman Reigns. I don't think there's a lot of viability of Team OG Bloodline winning and going on to tell stories effectively versus Bloodline 2.0 winning, because I think you invite The Rock back in if Team Bloodline 2.0 loses, because OG Bloodline losing doesn't do anything. It doesn't give The Rock a reason to come back because Bloodline 2.0 has got it all handled. He's going to need to come back and put Solo Sikoa back in his place, or he's going to take the Ulafala, and now he's got a new bloodline, like the one true, the final bloodline, or he's going to take ownership of Bloodline 2.0. Whatever's going to happen, I really don't think you can tell the next steps of this story if OG Bloodline doesn't win, and it's what everybody's been wanting, right? It's what everybody's been wanting, is seeing Roman, the Usos, and Sammy reform OG Bloodline to take out Bloodline 2.0, and CM Punk joining them is just the cherry on top. But could I see Bloodline 2.0 winning? Sure, absolutely, because there's a lot of things you could do in terms of having somebody turn heel on Roman, and it would feel justified. And that's the one thing I'll give Triple H. I'll give Triple H a lot of things. I'll give him a lot of flowers. But one thing I'll give him for sure in regards to how he's booked heel turns is that they're all justified for the most part. Like Kevin Owens is the most justified heel turn in recent memory for probably the last decade, because Cody Rhodes turned his back on everything that he fought for several years, and that Kevin Owens stood in and helped him with. And Kevin Owens has been dealing with that whole issue way longer. So I could see a justified heel turn coming. I just don't think it's now. So I'm going to have OG Bloodline to win men's WarGames. All right, guys, maybe that wasn't 5 minutes, but wanted to give you a quick, consolidated, concise prediction video this time around with all the finalized announced matches. Make sure you like the video. Let me know in the comments below what you think is going to happen at Survivor Series WarGames 2024. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and I will see you very soon.